The manufacturing industry has always played an important role in Malaysia. Some of the key subsectors within the manufacturing industry in Malaysia are electrical and electronics, machinery and equipment, chemical, food, gloves, and more. For a sector that takes up such a significant chunk of the Malaysian economy, organizations in this industry need to sustain loyalty and maintain the motivation of their workers. Motivated and productive workers result in positive output that in turn will benefit not just the company but also this nation and its citizens. This is why organizations need to be committed to incentivizing their employees. Recognizing this importance, the Malaysia Productivity Corporation (MPC) has initiated eSPO, which is recognized by the Ministry of International Trade and Industry (MITI), Ministry of Human Resources (MOHR), and is a platform to acknowledge and register organizations that practice shared prosperity schemes with their workers. These organizations or companies can practice several different types of incentives such as performance bonus, sales target reward, and more. This video will serve as a training module and explain further elements that make a company a shared prosperity organization and how your organization can be acknowledged with eSPO. The learning objective of this video is to make information regarding eSPO accessible to the employer, employee, and the general public. It is also to provide an exposure of how easy it is for organizations to apply for the eSPO Acknowledgement Certificate. Before we go through the training module, let's learn what exactly is eSPO. eSPO, or E-Shared Prosperity Organization, is an online platform that was launched on the 17th of December 2020 by Yang Berbahagia Dato Sri Nur Azman Ayub, Deputy Secretary General from the Ministry of International Trade and Industry (MITI). This online platform aims to provide an acknowledgement certificate issued by the MPC to increase the adoption of PLWS, or Productivity Linked Wage System. PLWS is a flexible wage system that is based on gain sharing and mutual wealth creation between employer and employee. The electronic certificate from eSPO will be issued to companies that have successfully implemented PLWS. This system is crafted to help bridge the gap between wages and increase motivation and healthy competition amongst the workforce. How can eSPO bring a benefit to your company or organization? Today we'll take a look at 3 types of advantages this credential can bring your company: the direct benefits, the indirect benefits, and the future benefits. Directly, eSPO provides flexibility in the compensation system of a company. Employers can compensate and reward their workers according to their efficiency and productivity. Studies indicated that companies that implement PLWS show an increase of 15% in productivity, 10% in profitability, and 10% in workers' wages. This incentive increases workers' engagement in their allocated project since their wage capacity is tied to their productivity. Indirectly, an eSPO acknowledged company enhances its business visibility, competitiveness, and standing in the marketplace. This identity will also make the company more attractive for future talent who seek employment. eSPO also benefits the country in the future, as companies that are early adopters of this acknowledgement will be seen as leaders and forerunners, paving the way for a more dynamic wage system that practices distribution of profit to its employee. As we move forward, companies that are certified by eSPO might also be prioritized for awards and incentives by the government. In this training module, you will be briefed on the 3 major components of evaluation that makes a company eligible for the eSPO Acknowledgement Certification. There are 20 simple yes or no questions for you to go through. The three components are bonus component, making up 200 marks, productivity and performance incentives component, making up 600 marks, skills incentives component, making up 200 marks. The total marks awarded for this assessment is 1,000. All these elements are equally important and can easily be initiated in the manufacturing industry to stimulate wealth creation and provide a more efficient wealth sharing system. The first question of the bonus component is to measure if your company sets aside a predetermined amount as a bonus on top of basic salary. The bonus eligibility and calculation depends on whether the company reaches its profit goals for the year. For example, if a glove manufacturing company generates 2 million ringgit in profit for the year, the company puts aside 10% allocation of 200,000 ringgit bonus to pay out to its employees. Here we have an example of two bonus models that are commonly used by companies. In Table 1.1, we see a profit after tax model where employees are eligible for a 1-month basic salary if the company reaches a 2 million profit after tax. In Table 1.2, we see another module used by another company where if their profit before tax bonus reaches 6 million ringgit, the employees are then eligible for an annual bonus of 500 ringgit. This incentive nourishes employees' loyalty and productivity while improving the company's hiring and retention potential since employees feel more fairly compensated for their hard work. The next element is to measure if your organization implements a performance bonus. A performance bonus is an additional compensation given to an employee or department for achieving specific goals or targets. Table 2.1 shows an example of a textile manufacturing company. If the return on investment ROI is more than 100%, then the employees are awarded with 1 month of their basic salary as the year's bonus. Table 2.2 shows another module where the incentives are paid based on business plan. If a company managed to achieve the business plan target above 140%, employees will be rewarded with 2 months bonus. These types of incentives will help employees feel more engaged, knowing that their work is important and holds meaning to the company. Question 3 is regarding a company's implementation of employee performance bonus. This bonus is applied to employee performance rating for that year. Based on Table 3.1, an employee will only be compensated for this employee bonus if he or she gets at least 40% marks on productivity. For marks less than that, the employee will not be getting the bonus. In Table 3.2, we see that the better the employee's performance rating is, the higher their increment rate and performance bonus is, with a maximum performance bonus of 2.5 months. Moving to element 4 of the Acknowledgement Certification, it is to measure if the company or organization implements bonus based on both company profitability and employee performance. This reward is an additional payment paid to an employee or department as a reward for achieving specific goals or hitting predetermined targets, and when the employee performs commendably. An example is shown here in Table 4.1. If the average employee's performance is within 80 to 90% and the company gets a post-tax profit of 10 million ringgit, then the bonus of 1 month will be rewarded. In Table 4.2, you can see that it is based on an individual employee performance rating and pre-tax profit. So, if a company's revenue is at 12 million ringgit and the employee's performance rating is above 80, that employee can be rewarded a 2.1 month bonus. In question 5, it aims to measure if your company implements a bonus based on company performance and employee performance. Generally, company performance bonuses are awarded for the achievement of the business plan, and employee bonus amounts may vary depending on the individual performance. Table 5.1 and 5.2 shows two types of company performance, which are Company Business Plan's Performance Rating System and Company Output Performance Rating System. If the company business plan can reach 85% to 100% and the employee score is 70% to 80%, then the employee will get a 1-month bonus. Table 5.2 on how an employee is compensated according to their capability to manufacture jig performance. An employee who has been evaluated as outstanding will get a 1.6 month of bonus payout. For the last question in the bonus component, it is to see whether your company implements a share option. A share option gives opportunities to the employee to own a company's share at a special rate. This can create a sense of ownership and sharing of wealth where all members of the organization can feel the drive to be as productive as possible, since the company's profit or loss will affect them directly as a shareholder. Table 6.1, we can see a call option available for staff. For example, if the value of the stock price shows 25 ringgit, the call option for employees will be 3 ringgit. The second component of the eSPO Acknowledgement Certification is for the Productivity or Performance Incentives Evaluation. This component makes up 600 marks. Question 7 is to measure if your company provides a salary increment based on employee performance. Salary increments payment is determined through achievements of merit points, performance level, percentage-based increment, and performance increment. This table shows the incentive paid according to the performance rating and score. If an employee performance scores between 65 to 80%, he is entitled to 5% of the incentive. Additionally, Table 7.2 shows that if the merit points fall under good, then the base increment will be 2% with a performance increment of 6%. The next element, element 8, is to assess whether your company provides productivity incentives based on employee performance. An employee can also be compensated with monetary or non-monetary incentives when they perform positively. Profit sharing, project bonuses, scheduled bonuses such as Hari Raya bonus, Christmas bonus are just some of the examples of monetary incentives. Whereas non-monetary incentives include things like healthcare benefits, life insurance, promotions, flexible working hours, and other types of privileges that can be supported by the company. In Table 8.1, we see productivity incentives given to employees based on how they perform within their job grade. For example, a tile manufacturing factory operator, Jennifer, is considered a good worker by her employer because of her productivity. She would then be awarded 33 ringgit monthly. In Table 8.2, Jennifer's performance gets a grade of good, which entitles her to a 21 to 25% reward from her basic wages. The next question to ask is if your company provides piece rate incentives. Piece rated refers to a payment structure where the workers are rewarded based on per unit of creation. It could be a t-shirt or a brick production, depending on the individual output and how many pieces are produced without defect and is saleable. For example, a t-shirt manufacturing company incentive structure is shown in Table 9.1. If the saleable output by the manufacturing operator in the month is 14, he or she will be rewarded with 55 ringgit. Element 10 is to measure if your company provides incentives based on a reduction in wastage. This is when an employee or quality improvement team can reduce defects that can cause rework or can lead to an extra purchase of materials. Table 10.1 exhibits incentives of 100 ringgit which will be paid every month to the line operators of plastic injection molding if no rework is done for the product produced based on the product specification. We're halfway through this training module. Just 10 more elements and you will be on your way to make your organization eSPO acknowledged. Next, let us continue with element 11. Does your company provide incentives based on cost and time saving? This is when a company rewards employees with monetary incentives for cost or time saved on a manufacturing output plan. Table 11.1 and 11.2 shows the incentive payment scheme of a shoe manufacturing company when its employee manages to save costs and time. Table 11.1 shows the percentage of costs saved by the company quality improvement team by reducing the usage of shoe plastic covers. This led to a 13% savings in cost. Because of this, the team members are rewarded with 250 ringgit. Table 11.2 tabulates incentives given according to time saving. In this example, project A was completed earlier than the stipulated deadline. Team members who are involved received an incentive of 200 ringgit based on the record of 8% to 11% total time saving for the project. Element 12 is to evaluate if your company provides incentives based on the personal quality of a worker. Do you reward an employee who performs commendably in criteria such as attendance, absenteeism, punctuality, and discipline? Table 12.1 and 12.3 exhibits how rewards are being given based on the company criteria guideline. Employees are paid quarterly or accumulated quarterly amount upon achievement of the guided personal quality criteria. Does your company provide productivity incentive scheme? This next element refers to a certain amount of incentive given to the employee when a company achieves a production target set at the plant level. Table 13.1 exhibits that the employees are rewarded based on quality output. If the employee achieved a target ranging from 93% to 95%, they will be paid 100 ringgit. Table 13.2 shows the calculation of incentives paid according to saleable production volume. The next element that we will cover is to measure if your company provides a performance incentive allowance. This is when an employee has reached the maximum on their salary scale and has performed commendably during the review period. This is not attached to their basic salary. Table 14.1 shows that if an employee performance rating is more than 85%, he or she will receive 60 ringgit monthly. Table 14.2 shows the incentive structure when it comes to manufacturing machine efficiency. The maintenance technician will receive a monthly incentive of 100 ringgit if the machine can work efficiently for 22 to 23 hours without any breakdown. Question 15 is to cover sales achievement incentives. This is paid to an individual or team upon hitting a sales target. Table 15.1 shows that if the sales value achieved more than 5,000 ringgit, the sales representative will be rewarded 70 ringgit. Table 15.2 shows how the incentives are paid according to the sales quantity. If the sales representative can sell more than 5,000 units, he or she will be incentivized with 70 ringgit. A sales incentive motivates and rewards personnel or teams for reaching and exceeding their goals set by the department. Next, on to element 16. Does your company provide a coaching allowance? This is where an employee of a certain organization can be paid to conduct training for internal staff. This can motivate information sharing and co-training each other to reduce staff errors. In this table on screen, a manufacturing company allocates 30 ringgit payment for every hour an experienced internal staff conducts an in-house training for COVID-19 standard operating procedure. Question 17 is to evaluate if your organization provides other non-financial incentives that acknowledge employees' contribution. Some of the employee contribution recognition examples are as shown on the screen. Non-financial incentives can be in the form of an annual family day, awards for best employee, service awards for years served in the company, and even trip incentives. Essentially, these kind of recognitions can also improve productivity and enhance loyalty, which can result in better performance from the employee and positive business results. The last three elements of this training module are grouped in the skill incentive component. This component makes up 200 marks. Question 18 is to check if your organization incentivizes workers' multi-skill ability. Multi-skill is a term to refer to a single employee who can perform different skills in more than one area of field with the knowledge, experience, or specialized training. Table 18.1 shows that if a worker is multi-skilled and can handle 3 manufacturing machines at one time, then he will be given a monthly allowance of 100 ringgit to help retain his service and reward the application of his skills. Table 18.2 shows the number of incentives that workers can get depending on the skills he or she can apply at the workplace. If a machine operator is also competent in doing electrical work, such as lighting, isolation, and restoration, then the employee will be rewarded with 300 ringgit. The focus of element 19 is to evaluate if the company provides incentives based on multitasking capability. This incentive is given to an employee that manages multiple responsibilities. Table 19.1 exhibits the incentive structure given to an employee that can perform an extra task. For each additional task, the worker will be rewarded with an additional 150 ringgit. For example, if a storeman in a bag manufacturing company can also drive the lorry to transport the stocks, the said employee is entitled to get an additional 150 ringgit. And we have come to the final element in this training module for the manufacturing sector. Does your company provide incentives based on certified skills? Many companies reward employees who have formal knowledge, skill, or training that can add to his or her credentials. These certified skills can be incentivized as the application of them in the workplace improve the overall productivity of the worker. Table 20.1 shows an example of the competency certificate category for boilerman. For boilerman that is in grade 2, he or she will be given an additional incentive of 200 ringgit if he or she can acquire a competency certificate of boilerman grade 1. Another example is shown in table 20.2. If a steam engine driver DOSH grade 2 obtains a certificate of steam engine driver DOSH grade 1, then he or she will be rewarded with 120 ringgit monthly on top of basic salary. And that's the end of our training module for the manufacturing sector. We hope that with the guidance in this video, you can apply for the eSPO Acknowledgement Certificate and reap all the benefits that come with this acknowledgement. The Malaysia Productivity Corporation hopes to welcome more and more businesses that implement productivity-linked wage systems on their platform. This is in line with the Shared Prosperity Vision 2030, a commitment to make Malaysia a nation that achieves sustainable growth along with fair and equitable distribution across income groups, ethnicities, regions, and supply chains. Log on to www.mpc.gov.my/ESPO, answer the 20 simple and easy questions, and get acknowledged today.